We are addicted to the past. It's a sickness fight fans have. We look at photos of 2016 Conor McGregor or 2010 Anderson Silva and we sigh. We tell ourselves that the sport peaked back then. We convince ourselves that the characters were bigger, the stakes were higher, and the belts meant more. We complain that today's UFC feels sterile. We say it lacks the soul of the glory days. You are lying to yourself. While you were too busy mourning the retirement of the old guard, you missed the revolution happening right in front of your face. Look at the landscape. Really look at it. We aren't waiting for the next big thing to happen. It already did. The nostalgia is blinding you to a simple, violent truth. The kings of the past are gone. And thank God for that, because what replaced them is infinitely more terrifying. Welcome to the new age. Let's start at the very top. For years, the criticism was that champions were playing it safe. They would win a belt, sit on it, and clear out contenders in a single division until we got bored. That era is dead. Islam Makhachev killed it. When he cleaned out the lightweight division, he didn't sit around waiting for a paycheck. He looked at the welterweight division, a shark tank that has chewed up legends, and he decided it looked like free real estate. Becoming a double champion isn't just about collecting hardware. It's about doing what Khabib never did. It's about taking a risk that could humiliate you and turning it into a coronation. Watching Islam hold two belts simultaneously brings a feeling we haven't had since the dominant days of GSP, Silva, or McGregor. It feels like we are watching a mythological creature, someone who has transcended weight classes to become a problem for the entire roster. He has created a gravity around him that pulls in every eyeball in the sport. But dominance is boring without chaos, and if Islam represents order, the bantamweight division is pure anarchy. We spent the last 2 years listening to people say Merab Dvalishvili was a machine, that his cardio was weaponized, that he could not be stopped, that he would drown anyone who stepped in the cage with him. It felt inevitable, it felt permanent. Then the cage door locked with Petr Yan. We forgot who Petr Yan was because he had a few bad nights. We forgot that he is the most technically violent striker the division has ever seen. That fight wasn't a contest, it was a correction. Yan didn't just beat Merab, he broke the machine. He shattered the aura of invincibility that Merab had spent years building. That is the hallmark of a golden era. In the dark ages of the UFC, a dominant wrestler would hold the belt hostage for 5 years. In this era, there are no safe champions. The man everyone thought was unbeatable got dismantled by a remorseless striker who refused to die. That ruthlessness at bantamweight bled right down into the flyweights. For the longest time, 125 pounds was the division the UFC wanted to cut. Now, it's home to one of the most shocking rises in promotional history. Joshuavan is not a prospect anymore. Stop calling him that. Prospects don't wear gold. Joshuavan becoming the flyweight champion wasn't supposed to happen this fast. The timeline said he was 2 years away, but Van looked at the timeline and threw it in the trash. He fought to get to the title shot with a pace and pressure that made seasoned veterans look like amateurs. Yes, you might say he got lucky with the win over Pantoja, but he didn't become the #1 contender by accident. When you have a kid this young, this dangerous, sitting at the top of the mountain, it changes the texture of the entire sport. It tells every other fighter on the roster that age is irrelevant, experience is overrated, violence is the only currency that matters. And if Van is the king, Payton Talbott is the executioner. We need to talk about what happened with Henry Cejudo. This wasn't a passing of the torch, this was a snuff film. Cejudo is a legend, a 2-division champ, an Olympic gold medalist. He knows every trick in the book. And Payton Talbott treated him like a punching bag in a regional show. Talbott didn't just win, he dismantled a legacy. He looked Cejudo in the eyes and showed him that the game had evolved past him. That performance anchored the argument for this new era. When you have unranked or rising guys doing that to Hall of Famers, you know the skill ceiling has just been raised. Talbott represents the new breed. Long, rangy, creative, and utterly lacking in respect for the old guard. He isn't here to kiss the ring, he's here to melt it down. While the young guns are killing legends, the biggest star in the sport refused to fade away. We thought the Pereira story was over when he lost the belt. We thought the magic had run out. The narrative was written. He came, he saw, he got knocked out, he left. But Payton is different. He regained that light heavyweight throne with a violence that was terrifying to witness. This isn't just a champion, this is a movie character. Pereira's resurgence gives the sport a final boss energy that it desperately needs. The light heavyweight champion is usually a mess of injuries and bad title fights. Pereira makes it must-see TV. Every time he walks out, you get that pit in your stomach. that anxiety, that fear. That is the feeling of a golden era. And notice where these guys are coming from. This isn't just Vegas and Brazil anymore. Look at the map. We have Ilia Topuria turning Spain into a fight capital. We have the Georgian takeover, which is still alive and kicking despite Merab's setback, because the region produces dogs. We have Islam keeping the Dagestani legacy pristine. This global expansion matters because it brings different styles, different cultures, and different fan bases into the mix. The energy in their arena is different when you have thousands of traveling fans singing songs you don't understand. It feels like the World Cup every single weekend. The UFC has finally grown into its name. It is the ultimate fighting championship of the world, not just a regional curiosity. Now bring it back to where we started, Islam Makhachev and those 2 belts. The reason his double champ status is so heavy is because of who is waiting for him at 170. The welterweight division isn't just stacked, it's a powder keg. You have Shavkat Rakhmonov, a guy who finishes everyone. You have Ian Gary, who people love to hate but who keeps winning. The potential matchups here are video game stuff. Islam versus Shavkat, that is the modern day equivalent of GSP versus Anderson Silva. The fight we never got. But in this era, the fighters are crazy enough to actually sign the contract. The narratives are weaving together. The lightweight king is hunting the welterweight monsters. The welterweight contenders are trying to defend their territory. It's a crossover event that never ends. Think about the feeling of the last few pay-per-views. Did you know what was going to happen? Be honest, you didn't. You might have had a pick, but you were sweating. That unpredictability is the drug. In the old golden era, you knew Anderson Silva was going to clown his opponent. You knew Jones was going to win. Now, the margins are razor thin. One mistake and Merab gets his head kneed off. One mistake and Cejudo gets retired. This volatility is what makes the sport alive. We aren't watching a scripted drama where the hero wins in the end. We are watching a nature documentary where the lions are getting bigger, faster, and hungrier. I hear the comments already, but the personalities aren't the same. Nobody talks like Chael. Nobody has the swagger of Conor. You are right, they don't, because they don't need to. The entertainment in this era isn't coming from throwing water bottles at press conferences. It's coming from the cage. The entertainment is Payton Talbott ending a Hall of Fame career. It's Petr Yan reminding us that violence is a language everyone understands. It's Islam attempting greatness by chasing a second belt. The drama is in the stakes, not the skits. If you are waiting for a guy in a suit to talk trash to feel excited, you are missing the point of fighting. This era is defined by skill, by danger, and by the absolute refusal to accept limits. We have traded the circus for the Colosseum. History is funny. You never know you were living in the good old days until you are 10 years removed from them. Looking back with rose-colored glasses, 10 years from now, you will tell your kids about the night Petr Yan silenced the machine. You will tell them about the rise of joshuavan. You will talk about the double champ Islam Makhachev and the terrifying reign of Alexpereira. You will call this the golden era. So why wait 10 years? Open your eyes, appreciate the violence, respect the level of skill. The next golden era isn't coming, it's not on the horizon, it's here, breathing down your neck, demanding your attention. Don't blink or you'll miss greatness. Let me know in the comments, are we witnessing the peak of the sport or are you still stuck in 2016? Like the video if you love this game, and I'll see you in the next one.